Everybody, we are live. Welcome to the 3+1 livecast special vice presidential debate edition, where we are joined by a panel of phenomenal young men, young and old men, young and middle-aged men, just young men. On tomorrow, you will be able to join back and see some phenomenal commentary from some ladies. So it's going to be an all-lady panel with me serving as a moderator, not allowed to give any opinions. So we're going to give you both perspectives from Black men as well as Black women about what we saw tonight. So let's go around and introduce, everybody just introduce yourselves. You guys know me, I'm Zack Kirk, Dr. Pickett.
Well, you just said my name, DeAndre Dr. Pickett. So, DeAndre Pickett, excited to be here with you all.
Hey everyone, I'm Darius Williams. I'm Darius Williams, excited to be here.
Zack Thomas, I'm also excited to be here. Looking forward to the conversation.
Awesome. Hey, everybody. I'm Colby Gardner. I'm really excited to be here.
And I am Vince Ashton. Glad to be a part. Let's go.
So we're going to jump right into it. And we want everyone who's watching with us online to also join in the conversation. When you put comments in the chat box, we're able to see those. These gentlemen did not do themselves justice in their introduction, so I'm going to go around and do a little bit of justice to that. Dr. Pickett and Colby Gardner are both noted for having run actually 4 offices in the city of Atlanta. They both bring a great political perspective to this conversation, and we're happy to have them. Zack Thomas, Zacharias Thomas is actually a diversity and inclusion officer and expert from Washington, D.C. Darius Williams is also a noted education professional working at Kennesaw State. And Vince Ashton, you know, as a Atlanta personality, photographer, and really jack of multiple trades, but master also of those exact same trades. And he joins me every Monday night for Five Guys on Live. We are going to go right now into the very first question for the panel and for those of you who are watching at home. What did you think of the debate? Period, point blank. What is your initial first key takeaways? Whoever wants to go, you may take it away.
So I'll go really quickly. So I think the winner of the debate is clearly Senator Kamala Harris, our next vice president of the United States of America. But, you know, a strong second goes to that fly who really sat on top of Mike Pence's head and represented kind of all the feelings we have about how we feel about the vice president. I'm super excited to see what Joe Biden and Senator Harris do in these next 27 days to win this election. But we all know that Kamala brought us home.
I would echo the same sentiments. I think Kamala came out on point. She answered the questions. She talked directly to the people. And she also defended her record. But I will also say that Fly, he actually knew, came in second, and then the third was the moderator because she kept it going.
That Fly was definitely the GOAT. But shout out to Kamala for putting on for HBCUs everywhere, and also to the ladies of Alpha Kappa Alpha. So I got my pink and green drink tonight. But it was actually just good. It was very good to actually hear some talking points tonight, as opposed to last week. The presidential debate, as everyone knows, was a shit show. We didn't get to hear much of anything other than Trump over talking everyone. So one thing about Pence, he was a little rude and he did interrupt, but we did get to hear some points from Pence as well as from Senator Harris. So it was actually a pretty decent debate to watch this week.
Yeah, I have to agree with Darius and everybody else thus far. 1000% Kamala for the win. And did she win tonight from A to Z? She came out swinging. She was so professional. Just she gave me the mama and the auntie and the prosecutor and the vice president. Like, she gave me everything that I needed tonight. Her facial expressions. Y'all know how y'all mama look at y'all. She was giving us that tonight. Like, it wasn't even 30 seconds into it. She was like, like already ready. You feel me? So yeah, I loved it. Awesome.
Look, and as you say that, my mom is commenting on the chat. So let me watch my profanity and my drinking tonight.
I think the real winner tonight, we said the Fly, we said Kamala, I think the real winner tonight was the amazing Miss Cosby. What I mean by that is, Kamala, channeled her good girlfriend Cosby show tonight, because when I tell you, she gave us everything that great lawyer could give. I mean, she really, but to Darius's point, it was a total contrast to what we got a chance to see last week, because of the fact, despite of what side of the table you're on, it was a breath of fresh air to at least hear, the conversation. Now, granted, as rude at times it can be, at least there was actual legitimate facts that you can actually go back and fact check, not just somebody actually just going out and saying. And what I mean by facts is they put it out there and allow us to be able to actually go and look it up. So I would say, tonight was a really good night, I think, for each person to play their part. But as we all said, at the end of the day, Kamala mopped it. I mean, wiped the floor, did an absolutely amazing job.
You're on mute? Yeah.
That's why I threw the finger up real quick. So I have to provide a semblance of balance. That's the role of a good moderator. And I will say that I can't disagree. You guys absolutely know how strongly I feel about Senator Kamala Harris. She did an exceptional job, and she definitely was a better debater. But did anyone in America not expect that? I think that everyone did indeed expect that she was going to do a phenomenal job. She is really America's attorney general. And when Beau Biden was alive, he also could be considered one of America's top attorney generals. This is something that she's noted for. But I will say that I firmly feel as though Vice President Mike Pence did a significantly better job than I ever expected him to do. He maintained, as much as he could, a sense of calm and composure that really did project that he actually would have been a much better president for the public face than Donald Trump. Yep, he told a lot of lies. I'm excited to see the fact checking that will come tomorrow. Some of it's already coming through on tweets. I get a number of alerts from people. I get my Twitter alerts, but I do believe that for the Trumplicans who follow closely, who don't follow the real news, who aren't going to look at the fact checking, who are in the QAnon groups that got shut down this week, he absolutely gave them exactly what they needed. The next question I have for you guys, and in order to moderate the time, we'll have two people kind of answer at a time. I'm going to actually call on one person, and then whoever else feels compelled, and you just have to answer, then you go. But if you don't have to answer, we can go to the next question. The question I have for you is, do you feel that either of these two individuals were able to speak in a way that would garner over our undecided voters? Do you think either Senator Kamala Harris or Vice President Mike Pence was able to appeal to our undecided voters? And I'm going to call on Dr. Pickett.
I was like, who are you calling on?
Right.
I'm like, you just like the other moderators. but to be very frank and honest, I'm not sure. I think that both of them did what they were supposed to do but we knew that the Democrats knew that Kamala was going to come out and do what Kamala's going to do. The Republicans did. We have to remember, Pence is a typical standard Republican. He was able to stick to the Republican talking points. Republicans, they stick to a talking point and they stay right in that box. Anytime you take them outside that box, they don't know what to do. And so at the end of the day, I'm not sure that, and truth be told, I'm not even sure that it's the VP's responsibility to even necessarily do that in my regard. I'm not even sure if they can even do that, because they know at the end of the day, for instance, both of them did not do a good job with answering the question when it came to if they've had the conversation with the presidential nominee about their health. Neither of them answered that question. And so when it comes to that conversation piece, I think we put too much pressure on the VP, but at the same time, I don't think that they actually swayed one way or another. I think they stuck to their pockets and did an amazing job where they were.
So I really think that Senator Harris did an amazing job, and I saw down in the comments. I have to echo that sentiment of talking directly to the American people. I feel like she took so many opportunities to kind of break things down and make it plain for us. When you talked about Trump and his taxes, she talked very plainly around what that really means. When you owe someone money, what does that mean? She took some great opportunities to talk to folks about how we can't pay our rent due to the coronavirus outbreak. How, again, you have millions of folks out of work. And I really think that Senator Harris did an amazing job of really just kind of relating to everyday Americans. I think that was her job today, not to really relitigate the past 4 years, even though she did a really good job of doing that, but more so talking about why a Biden-Harris administration would be so much better for the American people. And I really think she did a really good job of doing that.
Can I just throw something there? I'm sorry, Zach. I know you said two people, but I do think this debate actually did probably sway some of the undecided voters one way or the other, because I think it was one historic, but then also kind of speaking to Dr. Pickett's point about their health of the current president or Biden, the president. This person might be next in line for the presidency. So you got an opportunity to see how they would act or react or be in that position of presidency. And I think Pitts kind of showed that in one way or another. But then also I think Kamala kind of ate him up in it. But I think it did sway some people's vote.
Absolutely. I think that you make some really good points, Zack. And again, it's just, we want two people, but you can, if you feel compelled, definitely, gentlemen, join in. This is actually going to the next question. I'm going to begin this question. I'm directing it to Vince because I know how important the mantra of protecting all Black women is to you, as we discussed on Monday night's Five Guys on Live. But this is something that we kind of knew would happen. And Dr. Washington brought it up when she said that people and commentators are already talking about Kamala's facial expression instead of her talking points. Now, I will say, Dr. Washington, I was looking and watching very carefully on Twitter, and I was following the most recent tweets for VP Debate and VP Debate 2020. And the commentary was very focused on that thread around her actual points. Nobody gave any negative commentary or threw any shade or target any negative reads towards her on those two major top trending hashtags. But I definitely know that's happening on Fox News. There's no doubt that it's going to. It's definitely happening from, as Laurel stated here, a number of the racist people that are out there. But what I want to ask Vince, and we're going to open it up to, is this right here, is about the level of disrespect that was thrown and shown by Vice President Pence towards Senator Kamala Harris, as well as the moderator, Susan, who I didn't know. This is a tweet that I saw. The tweet reads, "I'm speaking, AKA what every woman in America should be saying when they get bulldozed by men." And I want to know, Vince, do you feel as though it was disrespectful of VP Pence to continuously overtalk and to interrupt? And do you feel as though Senator Harris should have been more aggressive in her approach to dealing with that?
That's a great question, Zach. For me, looking at the entire,
I guess, great question, Vince. I asked it.
Yeah, very much so. So looking at the whole production of it all, going into it, knowing that it's a debate, certain things are just par for the course. There's going to be over talking at certain points because people want to get their points out or what have you. I actually, if there's anything, and I say this lightly, if there's anything that I give Pence, I feel like he has a tad bit more civility than Donald Trump does or what have you. So I think in those moments, I didn't feel as if it was as if he was attacking like Trump has done. But I'm glad that Kamala stood her ground, and I'm speaking, especially when he went in on her record and stuff like that. And it was a few times she was like, "Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking. Like this is my time." I really don't feel like she was aggressive, or she should have been more aggressive or anything of that matter. I felt like, okay, this is me. I feel like whoever prepped her really gave her a good idea of, okay, we want you to be the auntie sister girl, but maybe not too much, because that could turn into, well, you know, she may be too black, or do we want somebody black mama in the White House, or will that be relatable for all of the Americans and stuff like that? So I feel like she did a great job at blending and melting all of the things that just resonates. I think somebody put that in one of the comments, how she resonated with a lot of people. So I think her responses and her just how she carried herself, it resonated with a lot of people, and she stood her ground, and I loved it. I loved it.
I want to jump in. I think it's unfortunate because when you look back at last week with the 3 white men that were there, they never once had to worry about anyone characterizing them as an angry white man. But
Facts.
for Kamala, she had to worry about being characterized as an angry black woman, because that is the, you know, the stigma that comes along with being a powerful woman who's sure about what you think and who is firm in what you believe. And so I think it's just very unfortunate that she will be criticized one way or the other. But I think that she did an amazing job of being firm without being as disrespectful as she could have been. And as much as we regard her as a aunt or a sister or a cousin, it was, at the end of the day, she is a professional who's been in, you know, doing this work for a very long time. She knows what she's talking about. And the fact that she even has to worry about, you know, being perceived as an angry black woman is just another indication of the fact that systemic racism does exist. And even for Pence to sit there and try to denounce its existence in front of a black woman was very offensive to me. And even more so to think about just the fact that, you know, he took many opportunities to deflect away from a point about women's healthcare rights to talk about, you know, other issues with the military and things like that. I felt like it had a very sexist undertone. And just in general, I think it's sickening what, like you said, Loretta, I think it's very discouraging what women have to endure just to be taken seriously in a forum like this.
Absolutely. And we're going to, and Laurel will be one of our guests who will be joining us on tomorrow for the ladies' perspective around this topic, and really, you know, some of the issues that we need to hear about from Black women themselves. The next topic is going to actually start off with you, Darius. And we noticed it was immediate. I saw it as soon as the television turned on, and Vice President Pence cut his eye a little bit to the left. It was the right eye. In the corner, there was a spot of red. And so here is the tweet that started off from Dr. Jonathan Reiner, and the tweet reads, VP Pence has conjunctivitis, viral conjunctivitis, not a terrific sign in someone recently exposed to a viral pathogen. So my question that I want to throw out here to you is, what do you think about this? Do you feel as though it's possible that Vice President Pence has possibly contracted COVID-19, and that might even be a part of President Trump's strategy and being so forceful about demanding that he's back to normal and even wanting to debate Vice President Biden next week? Could this be the strategy, is to give Vice President Biden COVID-19?
I think it's absolutely possible. I mean, he was at the super spreader event, you know, rubbing elbows and shaking hands with people. The fact that so many people have been confirmed having COVID-19, and the fact that he still wanted to debate today and even tried to criticize Kamala Harris for wanting to have the 12 feet apart and the plexiglass dividers. I think he called it a fortress. I think that it's just laughable that Trump and Pence continue to downplay the pandemic. And it's just an indication of what's to come if we have 4 more years of them in the White House. It's going to be more people who are going to die because they do not take this pandemic seriously. He even referenced it as an epidemic. I don't know if you all realized that earlier. He referenced the pandemic as an epidemic, which is something that happens in a small community. This is something that is global. This is worldwide. And for you to sit here and to downplay it, even in this moment, to call it epidemic, is just a slap in the face to the hundreds of thousands of people who have died and the millions of people who have contracted the virus and have put all their families at risk. And so for him to show up today is true to form. And it should have been virtual, if anything.
Would anyone else like to add to that? If not, we will go to the next question that goes to Zack Thomas. And the question that I have here is really about how our two candidates presented themselves. Earlier in the chat, Laurel said that she needs to find out who did Senator Kamala Harris's hair because it was laid. You know, was her hair really laid? And here's the tweet that really promoted or kind of prompted this response. And this is the tweet. Now I'm going to show you the tweet. The tweet reads, "Someone needs to give the VP some of that extra foundation that the @real Donald Trump is rocking right now. Homeboy looks like a GD vampire." This came from Jeremy Hefner. Again, the question is about how did our candidates look, and what can you say about how they chose to present themselves to the American people?
Okay, so I definitely think each candidate presented themselves as they would do for their own party. I think Kamala did an excellent job because I think she has to kind of straddle the fence of being not too feminine, not too masculine, those social constructs that people put on individuals. And so having her hair done, wearing jewelry.
Zack, if I can interrupt you like Mike Pence did Kamala Harris. Tiffany Franklin, if you came in at the beginning of the show, you would have heard that we were talking about that tomorrow night. This is my goddaughter's mother, Tiffany Franklin. So in honor of my goddaughter, Riley, who has a birthday this month, I will speak no more on that. Back to you, Senator Harris.
Hello. Okay. And I think Pence, he had to come in showing that he could be presidential because obviously we didn't see it a couple of weeks ago. And so I think he displayed a sense of like calmness. Yes, he at times were rude and disruptive, but I think he had to do that because it was a debate. But I think his look, of course, besides the eye, because yeah, he was a little pale looking. But I think overall appearance, I think both of them played their role or did their part and looked their part.
Anyone else wanting to add in? We got some great comments that have flown in about the appearance. And one thing that they talked about is the Botox. Rose talks about the Botox that Vice President Pence may be getting. And as illustrated here by Darius, you know, I have a wrinkle that won't go away that's coming in real strong. So I'm going to tell you right here, I too will be Botoxing my forehead until the wrinkle goes away.
And Botox can contribute to the eye as well.
You said it can do what?
Botox can contribute to your eye. So it could be.
I'm sorry, Mom. I didn't mean to say that. So the next question that we have goes to, it's going to go into Kobe. I want you to tell us, Kobe, and this is one that probably many of you, so feel free to join in because you're probably going to have something that you want to contribute.
It looks like Zach's computer froze up.
Okay, we'll give him a couple seconds.
You got anything you want to say while we wait, Kobe?
I'll wait for the question.
Well, if I can interject to go back to Senator Harris's appearance beyond her presentation tonight, I really applaud the fact that she always carries herself in a very presentable and relatable manner. I don't know if you all see her walking down the jet, I guess, stairs or what have you, when she goes from place to place, city to city, and she's either rocking some Chucks and some jeans or some Timbs and some jeans and a blazer. And I think it really appeals to just that 2020 mom, like that new age mom, that soccer mom, you know, that person that always shows up to the parties and the gatherings and stuff like that. So I think she does a great job all around, just looking relatable and comfortable, but still fly at the same time. I know, just going back to Hillary Clinton, you know, she was pretty solid and affirmed in what she had on or what have you. She didn't, she kept in that box. So it really, I like that Kamala sort of has pushed that envelope a little bit and
I
stretched
think her
that
sorors of
presentation
Alpha Kappa
conversation.
Alpha Sorority Incorporated were definitely happy to see those pearls that she was wearing on tonight's debate stage. And I really think she did really well representing not only the ticket, the Democrats, but also the American people.
And I know, Zach, I know you're gonna move on, but
So you guys
there's
were talking.
one
You
thing I
guys, when I
want to add.
froze up, you guys started talking about the looks.
Yeah, but there's one question. Yeah, there's one question I have to ask to Vince, though. To your point with Kamala and her look, and to the point of Hillary. My question, though, would it be though that would we have the same conversation if Hillary did changes because of the fact? Would we then go on to say she's trying to pander, or we said that she's trying to fit a certain way? And so I think it's kind of one of those situations to where I think there's moments to where no, mind you, I'm not saying that at the end of the day that Kamala is not, I love her style, but we also have to wonder. I think it's where we are in the time. Hillary had to be a certain, because Hillary had, she had to look a certain way. And it kind of goes back to, I think, what we, again, had that conversation of the expectation of what we feel the woman should actually look like in her. And so we go immediately to what she looks like first, and then we go to everything else. So I think it's kind of one of those, like, with dog, they damned they do, they damned they don't. When you're a woman running.
I think glad you made that point, but I will say that Hillary Clinton destroyed Donald Trump in every debate. She dragged him in a way that was legendary. And when you go back and you look at her actual the clips and what she said that has come to pass, it is absolutely it's futuristic. I do want to say I'm glad that Dr. Lovett is here. Dr. Lovett, I want to say personally to you that you're doing an amazing job. I have been seeing you in some different meetings and hearing you speak. You have a huge job. You are doing some phenomenal work, and I'm proud of you, and I appreciate you. And it is just a great time. So I'm proud of you as a fellow educator. So the question that I have for Colby, and for everybody, because I know you're going to want the question. The question is, what were tonight's missed opportunities? Whether it was an opportunity that Vice President Pence had that was missed, or one where Senator Harris had, where they really should have hit something harder than what they did, or they may not have even brought it up at all. Colby, we'll start with you.
As I think through tonight's debate, as I think through those missed opportunities, I feel like the vice president really missed an opportunity to really condemn systemic racism in a way that was substantial. I think that when you even talk about the implicit bias trainings that he rejected completely, when you talk about even the concept of systemic racism existing here in this country, I think that the vice president literally doubled down and really showed Black America that the Republican Party and the Trump Pence party is not for us. I think that even saw them lay out their platinum plan for African Americans about a week and a half ago. I think that plan was a kind of a slap in the face to the hard work that the vice president has really put forward in his agenda for Black America.
I would also like to add, as far as what Kamala missed, I think she did a great job in answering the question when they were talking about packing the courts. And she brought up the things that were at stake, such as healthcare, such as I just missed it, such as the Affordable Care Act. But then also, I think she missed the point that recently came out this week with LGBT marriage rights. And I think that was a piece that she could have nailed in, being such an ally to the community that could have rendered some additional votes, especially from white male gays.
I also think
I'd also like to add. Okay.
No, go ahead, Darius. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, at one point when they were talking about the vaccine, and Kamala said that if Trump said that they should take the vaccine, she would not. But if Dr. Fauci said they should take it, that she would. Pence responded that she should stop playing politics with people's lives. And I thought that was a really good opportunity for her to lay into that ass about, down from Betsy DeVos threatening to withhold federal funding from schools if they didn't send their children back to school, as a ploy to get parents back to work, as a ploy to get the economy back on track before the presidential election. I thought that she could have talked about Trump even stating this week that he would be withholding any plans for stimulus until after re-election. And I also thought that she should have talked about them just in general, having this super spreader event happen. But you want to talk about playing politics with people's lives when everything that you have done during this pandemic has been grossly negligent and has been playing politics with people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
So Laurel brings up a really good point, and Laurel also agrees with Darius, but this is something that I'm going to say that's very controversial, but again, it's what I firmly believe. Laurel, for the Black people in this country who are not going to vote for Joe Biden and Senator Kamala Harris, there is nothing that can be said by anybody to convince them, and I'm tired of trying to convince them because they're not going to vote for them, and their votes ultimately, I hope, will not matter a great deal. Here's why. If you're sitting here in a country where you have a disproportionate rate of Black and brown people dying of a pandemic that could have been mitigated by better information, and you still don't want to vote for the opposition, you can't be helped. If you are sitting and living in a country where stimulus relief that your family needs, that my family needs, and I want to go on record and say I haven't received $1 of stimulus money, and I won't receive $1 of stimulus money, but I recognize that people in America need it, and this man is holding it up, refusing to sign and saying, I'm not going to sign anything until after the election, and if I'm not elected, you won't get it signed until January because I still won't sign it, and they're still undecided or not wanting to vote. There is nothing that we can say to help them. There is no reason to say one word to Black America at this point with 28 days out. Those are votes that just simply will go down the drain or go to Donald Trump, because there is a bigger issue at play in those people than what can be solved by what Senator Kamala Harris can say or what Donald Trump can say. We cannot think that the 13% of this population can hold hostage this election results. And let me tell you, I know this is controversial what I'm going to say. This election is going to be won by decent white people. The decent white people in this country who are going to do the right thing and vote for Joe Biden are going to determine this election, period, point blank. And those are the people that I want to appeal to in anything and everything that I'm doing at this point.
The way everybody froze when you made that comment, it was like.
So one thing I really want to tap on really quickly, as we talk about the Supreme Court, especially as it relates to gay marriage, from that decision under the Obama administration, that 5-4 decision that really gave us those rights to get married here in this country. I think that Pence said we don't play politics with people's lives, and that's the exact opposite of what they do. I really think we need leaders who are more compassionate. I think at the end of the day, Senator Harris really appealed to the American people in a way that's going to resonate so well. And I really think, to your point, though I disagree with portions of your point, I really do. I will say that I can definitely meet you there and say that we need all Americans who can recognize we need compassionate leaders to vote for Joe and Kamala's upcoming election.
Really quick, I feel that Pence missed all the opportunities. I've heard fracking a trillion times. We was talking about Jesus and he talked about fracking. What does fracking have to do with Jesus? I don't know. Like he just deflected and pivoted more than an NBA All-Star game at this point or what have you. So in my opinion, he missed all of the opportunities he could have taken. I also feel like the moment that I was waiting for from Kamala was, of course, about her record. Because, you know, in terms of the left and especially our people, African Americans, Black people, as soon as she got the nomination, everybody was like, well, she did this to the Black men, and she was in California, and all the Black people in jail still, and she him and all that stuff is going on. So when Pence brought the conversation to the table, I hate that it was only, I think she was limited to 15 seconds to respond. So I know there are several Black people that are on that fence, you know, probably going to vote for Biden and Harris, but still want to hear more about her record. So I wish she had a little bit more time to expand on that. But that's it for me.
Yeah.
Did I hear him even mispronounce Breonna Taylor's name? Because I was
Brianna.
He said Breonna Taylor.
Trash.
That was
trash
so
box.
ignorant. That part, you don't even know the case. Like he showed himself right there. You don't even know the case of the fact that Daniel Cameron prosecuted the bullets, not the body. So the fact that you made it, so you're not even cognizant of what's going on in your own country. You get what I'm saying? Pence.
Yeah. I think the one problem, I think that if I had to give Kamala any critique, there was one point that she missed, and it was the very end when they both had to speak to that young girl. And the unfortunate situation is you let Pence play into his strength. When I tell you that was literally the best he done at the very end, and you got the last word. And unfortunately, all I can remember is that he did a good job ending. Hold on, Zach. Reason I say that is because, again, it's about the message. They specifically asked the question, what would you say to this little girl? Not what you speak to America. This little girl spoke to America. He spoke directly to her. Kamala went to Biden and everything else, and she didn't necessarily do as good as a job as he did because he spoke directly to the little girl. So at the end of the day, that was the one shortcoming. I felt like she could have just summed it up. All the speaking into the camera, that's great and that's wonderful. But that was the one sure thing that you could have summed it up. And I just don't think she was as strong in that.
I don't even think Brecklin exists. Ain't no 8th grader using the word oppose, opposition.
They may. Don't do that. They may. Don't do
Brecklin
that.
does not exist.
But think about it, even if Brooklyn doesn't exist, there is a Brooklyn somewhere.
Right. Brooklyn,
whatever the child's name is, there is a Brooklyn somewhere.
But all he said was it's okay to throw mud in the name of politics and in the name of the political process. That's all he said. You can throw mud, Brooklyn, as long as it's for politics. I don't think that was a very strong answer.
Jesus took me away for a moment, and then he brought me back so I could calm down before I say.
You will not use the Lord's name in vain for your foolishness on here. Don't you do it?
It is not foolish, because this is the thing. What Mike Pence actually told the little girl was to not listen to the news. He literally said, when I was a little boy, I used to listen to the news, and I started watching news very young, but I wouldn't believe everything I see on the news, basically calling the news fake news and saying that that's not the reality of America, when it is the reality of America. It's not only the reality of America, it's the reality of the America that he and Donald Trump have made. They have caused these divisions. They have made the America that this little girl is seeing and that she's disgusted by. And there is nothing that he or Donald Trump can do to heal that divide, but it's what, unfortunately, I think Joe Biden is going to have to do, and I think he will do. So I didn't think the answer was great at all. I think that it was just more of the continuous lies that we saw from Mike Pence throughout this performance.
And I'll just add to that, Zach, for as many children like her who are disgusted about what's going on, there are just as many children who are emboldened to be white supremacists, just like this administration has been. I saw a post the other day where I was a part of the alumni group for 4-H, and one of the alumnus posted that her child was running for the president of his 5th grade class, and his slogan was "Make 5th grade great again." This is a 10-year-old. He wants to make 5th grade great again. First of all, you've never been in 5th grade. You're 10 years old, but you are hearing these things, and this is the norm for you.
He gets held back for being stupid.
You see what I'm saying? So this is what this is them continuing to mold a generation, and it's crazy.
And DeAndre, although some disagree with you, Rose agrees. Dr. Prejean Harris agrees. So you do have those who agree with you and say that you are absolutely right.
If you look down there, there's actually multiple. Thank you. There's multiple people who agree. I just want that to go.
What does the electorate say?
Let's not get. Please don't get started. Please don't get started there. Not the electorate, please, because we'll have to shut his whole thing down. Please.
Zach, someone did say, I did get a text that say they glad that they're a decent white person. So you do have one.
But you know what? For me, one thing about Pence, I think what made me not, even though I probably wasn't from jump, but what really made me not connect with him, he played that anchorman card too much. Like straight 10 seconds, he's like, well, America, me and Trump. This is not the 11 Alive news. I need you to talk to me like you my vice president right now. And I just felt like there was just this disingenuousness coming. Like it was just a facade, just straight out the gate from him. So I wasn't even allowing myself to hear what he was saying.
That's what Lamont said, is that Mike Pence's way of speaking to people wasn't genuine, and that he didn't hear the level of that genuine response. And I think many people did say that. But I do want to defend.
But do we have a bias? like I think some of us might already have a bias, and so that could come into play when we're listening to him when he speaks, because that might just be his personality.
You know what?
Nothing he
That's
can
a
say
good
to
point.
me.
And this is the defense that I was going to make before we go into Takim's comment. And if there are any major things, guys, that have not been raised, those who are watching us, please raise it now, because we will explore those in the final 10 minutes of this opportunity to share and engage with you. And then again, a lot of these things will be raised for our women, but we will have some different questions and kind of take a different perspective on tomorrow night's chat starting at 9 o'clock. In defense of Mike Pence, if he is ill and beginning to show the symptoms of COVID-19, he probably didn't feel very well. And that could explain the very pale skin, the clamminess, the conjunctivitis, and his inability to really connect tonight. Now, Takim said that, about the denial of systemic oppression, which has been a continuous thread, my friend, throughout the, Trump administration. I don't think we're ever going to hear from them an acknowledgement of systemic oppression or the dangers that, Black people in this country or any minority, Black or brown, will face. And he was, this man had a career in news. He was a conservative radio talk show host before, going into politics. So that's his style. And it does work for a lot of people. It's a calming, moderate tone. Many people do like that. It is his politics. That's right. This is how he does his politics. And again, Rail agrees that Pence was clammy and he did feel well. But Tiffany said no sympathy here. And again, Rose is defending her stance with you, DeAndre. I mean, she is all about it with you as well, and saying how he told that story that appeals to people. And it is true. That did probably appeal to a lot of people. It did. I'm not going to deny it. I saw through it, but you're probably both very right. It probably was very appealing to a lot of people.
So if I may really quickly, I think that what we saw here, and I think I even posted to my social media, was that Pence just lies calmly. That's all that he is. The ability to speak in a calm voice does not refute the fact that you have lied to the American people since January about COVID-19. It does not refute the fact that for the last 3 going on 4 years, you have done a lot to hurt the American people. Our stance around the world has been diminished, and we need a Biden-Harris ticket to really come in to fix our standing in the world.
I agree, Kobe. Unlike Christian, I do give sympathy to Mike Pence if he has COVID-19. Even if you have COVID-19, Christian, I would have to say this man has the right to take a night or 2 off. You got to stay ready. I want to go back to this really good comment that was, and then Christian even took it further and say teachers are going back to school and going back and building teaching remotely with COVID-19. No excuses. But I do want to go to what was stated by our Wayne Woodson when he talked about the fact that Mother Pence, I don't even know her first name, and I apologize to every Mother Pence fan. I apologize. It is disrespectful of me to not know her name, but I do not know her name. Maybe her name is Clara, or she looks like a Clara. So Clara Pence. So Mother Clara Pence came up to the stage, and Mother Clara Pence was not wearing a mask.
Her name is Karen.
It's Karen.
Karen Pence.
Karen.
See, look at God. Thank you, Lord, for the divine intervention. So I was saying, I was playing. I know her name is Karen. I was saying Karen all along, but because I am from rural Mississippi and grew up on a dirt road, I say Clara. But I really meant Karen. It's my Mississippi accent coming to play. So, and shout out to all my family and friends on Albuquerque Road who are still watching. I do feel as though that, I personally think that was absolutely disrespectful and it was absolutely a shame. You literally have members of the Trump, 20 plus people in the Trump administration or connected to Donald Trump having been diagnosed with COVID-19 from Typhoid Trump and the super spreader event that was held to ram Justice Amy Coney Barrett down the throats of the American people. And now, she's coming up there disrespectfully while she may have COVID, her husband may have COVID, getting to me too close, even in proximity to the future vice president of the United States. I thought that was disgusting. Jim, what are your thoughts?
Birds of a feather flock together. I am waiting for one of the media companies to pull a picture from the presidential debate and the vice presidential debate at the end and put them side by side, because yet again, the Republican Party, husband and wife, no mask, Democratic Party, one mask, and you know, whoever was participating in the debate didn't have a mask. You think? Okay. I can't even talk right now. It's like, yes, humanity, you would think that people would learn by now, given what has happened this past week. But all things considered, how their behavior has been thus far doesn't really surprise you. Because again, Pence said we're all about Americans and their freedom.
And I think that also this whole Trump situation with Trump testing positive for COVID, a lot of people talk about whether or not they believe that it's real, whether or not he really tested positive for COVID. I really feel like more so than anything, he wanted to downplay the severity of COVID-19 by beating it in record time, because that's what Trump is all about. He's all about setting records. I had the largest inauguration in history. It was big, huge, the biggest one ever known to mankind. And you look at it's like, no, it really wasn't that big. I beat COVID-19 in 3 days, like, quicker than anyone ever has. We have the best healthcare ever there is. We're ready to beat this thing. So I think that it's just all about them playing down this thing. But in reality, you cannot play down something that has killed 200,000 plus people. And I think that it just shows how much of word that I don't want to use he is. So, of course, it does not surprise me that Pence's wife came up without a mask on, because it's who they are. It's what they do. As Michelle Obama said, it is what it is.
I'm gonna calm down before Jesus takes me back off the live cast, because I think he's unpleased with some of my responses, so he just frees me.
Work on it,
Lamont, you guys know how I feel about people calling the COVID-19 and the president a hoax. Lamont knows that Donald Trump has COVID-19, so I will not even address this. I won't address it. I won't address it.
One thing I'll say really quickly is that this administration has, if anybody's familiar with terms of psychology, this administration has gaslit us for the past 4 years. I really don't know what to believe when you have the president who will say something, you got the vice president who will say something, and then you'll backtrack within the course of a day. And I think that tonight, when you saw the Pence family arrive on stage, again, deliberately disobeying the rules set by the debate commission, deliberately disobeying those rules, I think that you show an administration that's not committed to being faithful to the American people by following the rules that they set for themselves. So I think the choice is clear, and we all know what to do. And the ballot box is coming up in the next 27 days.
I just feel that the Republicans see it as recommendations, while the Democrats see it as rules. And I think we see that as a prime example in Georgia. Governor Kemp, this is what I recommend you all to do, but I am not going to make it a rule. It sucks.
In fairness to my cousin Lamont, I will once again thank you, Darius. Darius is putting your response in the trash, Lamont. But I am going to just simply say there is no way. This is the thing. There are a lot of people in this world who will lie for President Donald J. Trump. But I don't believe that the medical professionals at Walter Reed will lie for him. Let me tell you why. Because these men are military soldiers who have given their lives an oath to protect our country. And just because Donald Trump does not respect his oath, it does not mean that these doctors don't respect their oath. I do believe there are good people in this world who value what they give their lives to.
Trump is the biggest stunt queen there is on this side of the Mississippi. So that man would lie.
Who?
And they would lie for him.
The doctors?
The doctors.
I don't believe the doctor.
The doctor came out. The doctor. Yeah. Okay.
Those are decent men.
But did you see the photo out that he took? And when you looked at the paper, it said like he was working so hard.
Why? I didn't. One of the doctors had that on the paper?
No, Trump did. He had his photo out and he was zoomed in.
I'm talking about the doctors. I'm saying
I don't think that they would lie.
What did that doctor say to you?
I feel that they wanted to show that you could get over COVID quicker.
He was taking remdesivir.
Is that what he said?
He was taking that.
He came out there and lied 12 times. He said he wasn't on oxygen. He didn't have to give oxygen. But people said they saw him give oxygen. That little 12-year-old doctor came up there and said that several times.
What he said was he was not on oxygen that day. And then he came back and said on Friday night he had oxygen.
But then he told us it was 72 hours. Then it was 48 hours. When did he get it? We don't know.
Well, the doctor at Walter Reed didn't give us those timelines. I don't think.
No, it was the doctor that is the presidential doctor who came
Yeah,
out
he's
and
a
gave.
liar. He also said that Donald Trump had the physical health of a 30-year-old man. That
Right.
man lies about. But I'm talking. Let me clarify, Zach.
Well, clarify the doctors that you mean.
Yes.
Nope.
Donald Trump's personal physician is not in the military and has not taken an oath to the American people or the American country. The doctors at Walter Reed are in the military. I am saying that the doctors at Walter Reed will not stand in front of the American people and lie to us because their oath means something to them. That is what I'm saying. I believe that the majority of, I would say that almost all of our American service personnel value their oath and they live by the oath. It's only a few people like Donald Trump who never served in the military, who evaded military duty by all means necessary, who will sit here and lie to the American people and not only lie to them, but defraud them by only paying $750 in taxes. He's a rarity. Yeah, you know what? Takeem makes a good point. So, yeah, what do we do moving forward, guys? This is an open question for everybody. What do we do about the people in our lives who still support Donald Trump? Now, Takeem, I'm not going to lie to you, brother, before I let these gentlemen answer it. Ain't none in my life. You ain't in my life supporting Donald Trump at this point. I have unfriended everybody on Facebook that has something positive to say or try to convince anybody of Donald Trump support. I have also boycotted every company from Goya Beans over to H&M Monkey Phone. All of that is not happening here. But I know some of you guys still may have people that you love and respect that are part of the Trump support. Because Kirks don't do that.
Well, being in the role that I am, I support the diversity of thought. And so if you have a different opinion than mine, I welcome conversations about those differences. I mean, we're not going to support everything. And so you can still be my friend. I can still love you from a distance. And we can still talk. But we all have our own. We all have our own. We don't want everybody to think like us. Think what kind of world we live in.
I mean, so one thing I'll say really quickly to piggyback. I think that I do have friends who are Republicans, who are registered Republicans right now. But I will say that my Republican friends have vowed to vote for Joe Biden in 2020 because they completely acknowledge that Donald Trump is far beyond what we need in the White House. So I think that's really key. I think that what I have done is learn the power of the mute button on Facebook and Instagram is protecting my mental health, especially as we're getting into these last 27 days for the election. What we need to do is convince who we can, get everyone out to the polls, and just do all that we can to win this election in November.
To go deeper into that word convincing,
and everybody knows I don't even eat beans per my diet.
That's funny. But yeah, to go deeper into the word convincing, I feel like if you do come across those voters that are undecided or swaying towards Trump, I feel like we have to make those conversations more direct and figure out what in his policies have enhanced or accelerated or just made the betterment of your life. And then receiving that feedback, researching what the Biden and Harris ticket does to see if that'll sort of Trump, what Trump has done in their life, or you get what I'm saying? Like it may be a more direct type of conversation. And I feel like having those type of conversations will assist in swaying, so on and so forth. Me personally, I haven't ran across a lot of Trump voters. I've ran across a lot of undecided or I'm not going to vote type people still to this very day. So those are the conversations that I'm having. And for me, it's more so coming from okay, if you don't give a flip about the presidential side of things, you still cannot negate and forsake the Senate. You cannot negate and forsake what's happening in your own community. You be complaining about why your front yard don't have sidewalks, and that may be on the ballot this year. But because you want to sit at your house, then you may not have sidewalks for the next 8 years or what have you. So I think people have to really get outside of themselves and know that this election is beyond the Oval Office. We have many, many seats, many positions, and many elected positions at stake.
To the point earlier about having or respecting people for their differing opinions, I do believe that you should respect people with differing opinions. However, we're talking about a liar. and people supporting this liar. And my grandmother always taught me that you don't have to have a whole cow to know you've had beef. If someone will lie, then they'll cheat. If they'll cheat, then they'll steal. And if they'll steal, then they'll kill. We watch this man lie. We watch him cheat. We watch him steal money from the government. And we watch him kill all these people from coronavirus. I don't know what more a person needs to see in order for them to know that Donald Trump is not the person for this country. And if they still feel like he is the person for this country, I can't deal with that.
You know, I think I want to clarify. I'm not talking about Republicans. You can be a Republican, and I support that, and I encourage Republicans to
absolutely
to join me on any platform and to engage in any debate about the ideologies in which you believe. Now, I'm not a Republican. I'm a lifelong Democrat and lean I'm a moderate Democrat who's leaning more progressive as I get older instead of the opposite way. But I will say that I have an immense amount of respect for Republicans and immense amount of respect for Black Republicans, because typically those people have really undergone a personal journey to come to the beliefs that they have, even if they are oftentimes selfishly motivated. But I will say this, when I talk about not supporting the people that are supporting Trump, that's what I said. I didn't say Republicans, I said people who support Trump.
What did you call them earlier? What did you call them earlier? Trumplicans?
Real Republicans like the Lincoln Project, like, former Governor John Kasich, like former President George Bush, like, former, beloved lady of Arizona, Cindy McCain. They are Republicans to the heart of who they are, but they are not supporting Donald Trump because they know the damage that Donald Trump has done to this country and will continue to do if he is given 4 more years to hold us hostage by his authoritarian regime. And I think that's a great stopping point. I have to say, Darius took us to church back in time with the kill, steal, and destroy. And that's what we have to do again to the enemy.
You got to watch it, old devil.
That's right. We do have to. So again, elaborate on what Trump's diversity of thought is. Like, what do you mean? So Lamont wants to know from you, Zack, what do you mean by President Trump's diversity of thought? That's a good point. I didn't even catch that because I don't think he has diversity of thought.
No, I was talking about supporters of Trump, that support his thinking. Like, if somebody tell me I support Trump, let's have a conversation about that. Why? Give me some facts, give me some things that you support him. And it's not necessarily the things that might be on the same side as the Democrats. And so you have to be open and honest to listen to those. So you can't always shut down something because you might miss something that you didn't know.
I agree. That's something I often, think about a lot. Just, my needs as a 30-year-old Black man is not the same needs as a 30-year-old Hispanic man in North Dakota. Your needs as a 12-year-old Brecklin in Utah is not the same needs as Shaquan in Massachusetts. You get what I'm saying?
As a fellow 30-year-old Black man, I agree with you, Vince, and I understand and relate to what you're saying as a fellow 30-year-old Black man.
Great. So with that
Plus
being
20.
said, right, this in spite of Trump and his shenanigans and how we all feel, I feel like you do have to sort of get out of your own way and attempt to hear, because there's different demographics, different areas of the country. People are facing different things. The West Coast got fires over here. Down South, we got hurricanes over here. So, it's different policies and protocols work in favor of different people governing where you live and how your upbringing is. So it is difficult, but I think it makes you a more well-rounded person, honestly.
I'm deaf when it comes to Trump. I just can't.
So we have, I think that we've had some really great, robust conversation. I want to thank everyone for joining us. I want to thank each of you gentlemen for being here. We will have these continuously and have them more often. That's why this is all about these really smart friends of mine. Thank you guys for joining us.
Zach, hold on. The knockout moment tonight was when I quoted it when Kamala was like, "Let's just set the record straight. Joe Biden saved the auto industry. You voted against it. Thank you." Bloop.
It was a great moment. It was. You guys can go to CNN, actually has already done The fact checking is done. It's up. It's posted. So I just got a live alert on the fact checking. I'm going to go through it now. I'm going to sit down and pull it all together. It'll be a post that I'll make first thing in the morning once I get my day started. Thank you to everyone who joined us, and we can't wait to see you on next Thursday for what I hope and pray will be a virtual presidential debate. I do not think that if it's not virtual, Joe Biden should not attend. He should maintain his health at all costs. And if he has to attend, if he feels compelled, he needs to be in a full-blown spacesuit like he is an NASA astronaut on Mars. Thank you so much and have a great rest of the week.